What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. So recently I put out a series of tweets that I think we need to go over and see where my thoughts honestly are, because we may get some people that truly believe exactly where CZ was coming from and understand that, the market fell because of what FTX did wrong. And we totally understand that. And I'm not saying that that's not the reason why, the markets really fell. So I wanted to break all of this down, talk about where my head is right now, because I think this is more interesting and kind of difficult to really understand or pin it on one person. I think you need to pin it on multiple people, and obviously a big business like FTX or exchange like FTX. So let's take some time to talk about this. We're going to go through the tweets. We're going to go through my thoughts, which I think the tweets really go through my thoughts pretty well. But I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit more and say where I'm coming from, because some people believe that, maybe I might be just bashing CZ at this point. I can't even say his name, CZ at this point, and not giving enough of the blame to FTX. But that's not the case. So hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. Also, make sure you guys check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel quite a bit. So again, I put out a series of tweets. If you go over on my Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Perry8K, you're going to see that I had these series of tweets here. So basically, let me just run through it. This FTX situation got me thinking this morning, and this was earlier this morning, 5 hours ago. I know that FTX was over leveraged, but without CZ tweeting about unloading FTT, FTX exchange may, and keyword is may, be in a better situation. However, they wouldn't have learned anything and potentially kept doing what they were doing. Now, it continues. Ultimately, I think FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried were to blame for investors losing a lot of money, but CZ has some fault in this too. Banks are over leveraged because they loan out their money to others. If all people decided or chose to withdraw money at once, the bank would go under too. Am I right? We've seen this happen in the past to where, obviously the markets were being hit hard. You saw people that were just running to banks and they were taking their money out. Banks needed to be bailed out. That was obviously a difficult situation. If Elon said, I'm taking my money out of Wells Fargo because they are over leveraged, which Elon has like 70 million subscribers or followers or something. I don't know how many followers he has over here, but he has a lot. Then Wells Fargo would collapse. But I know, don't shoot the messenger, right? Because CZ was just the messenger. So the reason why I put this out was because people are looking at this and going, FTX freaking sucks for doing what they did. And they're not wrong. FTX made a bad decision, or multiple bad decisions, over leveraging themselves by such a large amount, by doing everything that they were doing and not really minimizing the risk in any way. Like if you look at crypto.com offered so many different APYs, so many different reward structures, and then also getting percentages back on cards. They dialed that back because they realized that it wasn't sustainable in this downward market that we were headed into. So now they're able to survive no matter how many billions of dollars that, they do have. They're able to survive because they're not paying people out so much money over the year. Because if they were still doing that at like 10% or something, and somebody had $1 million invested, they would have to pay them $100,000 alone, right? So it's very difficult to, do something like that, set yourself up to bring in so many different investors, but pay them out so much because you're trying to keep them on board. And that's what FTX did. I believe they had like 8% APY in places. They were offering people a certain amount in order to sign on the platform. It's just so many different things. And then not to mention, obviously, over leveraging in the form of loans and lending out money. So that's a difficult situation, and FTX should have never been in that situation. However, they were surviving, and they would have survived if CZ did not release that tweet. If he didn't come out and say, hey, FTT, we're unloading all of our FTT because they are over leveraged, right? If he would have never done that, yes, it still would have been in the same situation, and then FTX may have not learned from it. But what he could have done as a competitor and understanding what this would do to the market, he should have went to them privately and said, look, how are we going to get out of this situation? Because I got to make sure that this FTT is safe and that it's not going to be, devalued a hell of a lot, in the future. And we want to make sure that things are all running smoothly. But instead, he had his competitor hat on and said, you know what? I'm just going to release this information to my, 7 million? I don't know how many million of followers he has, but 7 million followers. And now you see so many people that are like, well, I'm panicking. I follow what CZ said. He's a smart guy. So then they get out of their position. And the one thing that FTX didn't need and didn't want to happen was people withdrawing all at once. If people are getting out of it all at once, just like a bank, they're going to collapse, because they are over leveraged. So, and CZ knew this. So, and now he's coming back and saying, I didn't think that it would be this much of an impact, but it affected a lot of people, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people in the crypto market, and they're all losing money because of it. Some people selling off and just saying, I'm taking my losses, and others that are just losing so much money, not only on FTT, but on BNB, on Ethereum, on so many different things, because FTT or FTX went under. So there's definitely a dark side to this, that CZ just wanted to collapse FTX so that they can eventually acquire them and look like the hero. However, they didn't realize how much they were over leveraged, so they're not able to acquire them, which makes the markets worse. So not only the FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried responsible for this, but CZ is definitely responsible for this. Anybody that comes out and says, I'm offloading everything to the public, millions of people, you're trying to collapse something. And it's hurting a lot of investors. In my opinion, CZ is exactly to blame. And there are articles that are now coming out saying CZ is not squeaky clean when it comes to this situation, even though Binance looks good and you don't have any issues with that. I don't think he's exactly the cleanest person in the world when it comes to this situation. A lot of people lost money. We're starting to see a little bit of a recovery here, getting some things back to normal. But no one would have expected this to come out of nowhere and collapse FTX like that. He could have worked behind the scenes. He could have said, yeah, you know what? Let's work through this. How do we get out of this situation? But no, his competitor hat, because they were going back and forth, and they've been going back and forth for months and maybe even a year at this point. I don't even know. He decided to say, you know what? I'm just going to say I'm going to offload my FTT and see how that hurts him. And not only did it hurt him, it hurt all of the investors that are out in the crypto market everywhere, not just in FTX, but everywhere. Whether you're holding on Coinbase or you're holding on crypto.com, you're holding positions that have dropped by, 20%. I don't even know how many percent, 18%, 30% in some cases, or FTT that dropped, 90%. Now we're starting to see a little bit of recovery. So CZ is not squeaky clean. This is definitely the dark truth to what's going on with this whole FTX situation. So let me know your opinion. Do you believe what I'm saying, or is this something where you still believe that CZ and Binance are squeaky clean here? Because yes, they didn't over leverage themselves. He's just reporting on the information, but you got to understand that CZ is a smart guy. He knows what would happen because of that. He's pushing it to, I don't even know how many people. Let me go ahead and check how many, followers CZ has. 7.5 million followers. So I don't care what you say. That's a low blow and could have been talked about behind the scenes. I understand letting people know and making things public, but if anybody goes out and says, I'm getting out of Apple because Apple is over leveraged, I don't know, saying something about another company and you have 40 million followers or 70 million followers, you're guaranteed that a lot of other people are going to follow exactly what you're doing. So anyways, hit the like button, guys, hit the subscribe button. Let me know your comments and your opinions down in the comment section below. If you want to check out my my Patreon, feel free to check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. But I'm going to get out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.